What? Did you think I wasn't going to show up today? That I was going to go in the witness protection program? That I was going to be moping around, walking off the ledge because I was suicidal? I lost the play. It was a 30-dime release. It was on Gonzaga last night, a team that's made me a fortune this year. They failed to cover against Baylor. I don't mean to be cavalier, but I knew going in it was a 50-50 betting proposition, as did you. And I lost the play. It happens. And again, I don't mean to be cavalier, but there are no guarantees in gambling. As I said yesterday here on the video report, as I said on the website, I took a shot and I lost. And it still doesn't mask the fact that over the past 9 months, it has been an amazing run. Do you know over the past 9 months, I have had one losing streak of more than 3 days? One. And that lasted a whole 5 days. I made money in baseball. Nobody made more money in baseball here at the website than I did last summer. I made money in the NFL, made money in college football. I've made money in the NBA and college basketball so far this season. And I lost a play last night. And it sucks because I want to win. Matter of fact, not that I want to win, but I think I'm going to win every single play. And by the way, if you're gambling and you don't think you're going to win every single play, stop watching the video and stop gambling. And it blows that I lost that play last night. But listen, I'll be honest with you. The fact is that I'm not going to let that loss affect how I'm going to play today. If I had won last night, I wasn't going to be here singing and dancing today and doing cartwheels either. Just not my style. I don't lament the losses. I don't celebrate the wins, because to me, all that matters today is that I think the best bet on today's card is the Cal Irvine-Oregon game. In fact, I'm coming out with a Raise the Bar 20-dime release. I'm going to play that game even stronger than my normal top-rated 15-dime releases, because the game deserves to be played that way. And just because I lost that 30-dime play last night, my God, the bankroll that I've accumulated over the past 9 months, it's still huge. And this game demands to be played with a bigger play than normal. And I still have the bankroll to do so. And that's how I'm playing it. It's gambling. As I said from day one, before you ever place your first wager, you have to accept the fact that you're going to lose. Sometimes you're going to lose big. Sometimes you're going to lose for more than 2 or 3 days in a row. Sometimes you're going to lose for a couple of weeks in a row. And if you can accept that before you ever place your first wager, you'll be a better gambler. Because you won't be one of these guys that's walking the tightrope every single day. You won't be one of these people that fears losing, because when you let that fear creep into your psyche, that little voice whispering in your ear, oh my God, I'm going to lose. What happens if I lose? What happens if I don't win? You never win that. You're losing before you even place that wager. I really firmly believe that. That fear of losing is what stops athletes from being winners. It's what stops gamblers from being winners. You have to really go in to every single wagering situation feeling like you're going to win. I've had handicappers, when they get in losing streaks, saying, the woe is me. Oh my God, I'm never going to win. I don't know what I'm doing. I hope to break my losing streak. I hope to break the losing streak. Get the hell out of here. You don't have any job anymore. I don't want you. I want a guy who has balls. I want a guy that always thinks he's going to win. And again, if you're gambling out there, which you're not watching this video report because you're wondering whether or not I felt like shaving today, you're watching this because you're a gambler. End of story. So let's get to the complimentary plays. Hey, can I just take a moment to be serious here for a moment too? I know, me being serious, right? So today is 8 years since my father passed away. And a word of advice for those of you that may be younger, maybe those for you that are older. I'm not telling you how to live your life. But so my father had sinus cancer. And it was something that was, by the time they diagnosed it, it was terminal. We knew it was just a matter of time. Underwent a craniotomy, even underwent surgery to remove his nose as a life-saving measure, and nothing worked. But, excuse me, when ultimately, when he decided to end all his treatments, we knew and went into hospice. There was that time where there was actually a beautiful time where you had an opportunity to say all the things that you wanted to say. You know, I had the ability to write his eulogy a couple of months before he actually passed. And we had that opportunity to say things to each other that had been said before, but it was just nice to get those final things out. And when you think about it, so many people pass away quickly. And afterwards, their loved ones are left saying, I wish I had that opportunity to say this to so-and-so. And you hear it all the time from friends and family. My word of advice, my suggestion is, don't wait until tomorrow, because that tomorrow may never come. I had that beautiful experience, as my sister did and my other family members did, that we had that opportunity to have those final words. If I drop dead 2 minutes from now after this video is done, my son, my wife, they know how I feel, and vice versa. Of course, my wife also will have about $4 million in life insurance, and she will be on the first plane to Vegas. I think that my ashes will be scattered somewhere between Philadelphia and Vegas. I don't even think she'll wait for my ashes. I think they'll be left in a shoebox someplace, and she will be at a condo. She will be buying it in Vegas, and that $4 million will be gone like that. I'm telling you, just like that, the life insurance money. She will be spreading it every casino you can possibly. She will be a video poker addict. I always say that my wife will be the one that goes to the Gamblers Anonymous meeting, and she will be the one immediately after the meeting organizing the casino bus trip with coffee and donuts for all the addicts. That would be my wife. But in all seriousness, take the opportunity and say the things that you may have been putting off, because tomorrow, to quote Garth Brooks, may never come. So anyway, let's move to your complimentary plays. I know Virginia looked lousy for the first half against Gardner-Webb, trailing by 14 in the first half, and then down 36-30 at halftime. And then finally in the second half, it's like, hey, Virginia woke up. Opened the second half on a 27-5 run to win that game 71-56. Oklahoma looked great, on the other hand, against Ole Miss. Won that game 95-72. Got to the free throw line 26 times. But let's keep in mind that this is an Oklahoma team that had lost 8 of its previous 12 games before taking on an Ole Miss team that really had not played well the second half of the season in the SEC play. I look at Oklahoma's schedule, and I look at teams that Oklahoma played very similar to Virginia. Teams that were very tough-minded defensively. They lost by 20 points to Wisconsin. They lost twice to Texas Tech, a team that, when you look at the NCAA stats, defensive stats, you look at Texas Tech and Virginia, you look at the top 5 teams, right? Texas Tech, Oklahoma lost by 12 at home to Texas Tech and by 7 to the Red Raiders in Lubbock. Kansas State, another team that's like a top 10 team defensively in terms of points allowed per game and field goal defense. They lost to Kansas State by 12 and by 15-point margins. You've got a Virginia team that is number 1 in scoring defense at 55.1 points a game. You've got a Virginia team that's number 4 in field goal defense at 38%. You've got a Virginia team that's number 1 in scoring defense, 3-point defense at 27.2 points, 27.2%. Oklahoma's problem all season has been it's been unable to generate much offense. So that 95 points that it scored against Ole Miss, which was by far a season high, that's a mirage. That ain't happening today. The question with Virginia is that its offense has just been here and there and sporadic in big games. I like Virginia, though, here. The line is up to 11. I'm willing to invest, however, in Virginia in this spot. Another game. Let's talk about Texas Tech. I like Buffalo the other night. But the reason I went with Buffalo against Arizona State is because I thought Arizona State was in a precarious position because Arizona State was playing its third game in an 8-day stretch, and Arizona State's point guard was not at 100% because of a groin injury. And Buffalo destroyed Arizona State. Buffalo today, though, is taking on the Texas Tech team that is not going to allow it to run up and down the floor. A Texas Tech team that is every bit as good as Virginia defensively, and a Texas Tech team that can score. Buffalo right now is one of those teams, much like Cal Irvine, let's say, much like Murray State was yesterday, one of those Cinderella teams that everybody is enthused about. But Texas Tech has the pedigree. Texas Tech, now granted, is one of those teams, much like Gonzaga, much like Nevada early in the season, that I rode relentlessly this season. I like Texas Tech in this particular spot. I think Texas Tech can stop Buffalo offensively, and I think Texas Tech is an underrated offensive team. One that played in obviously a much tougher conference, the Big 12 versus the MAC. Buffalo, the game that really sticks out to me about Buffalo is when late in the non-conference season, Buffalo went to Marquette. A Marquette team that early in the year, I rode Marquette like crazy. And that was a game where Buffalo went into Marquette and I was all over the Golden Eagles. And in that game, Marquette just absolutely destroyed Buffalo. I'm not saying Texas Tech is going to destroy Buffalo today, but I think this is a great price to lay the points with Texas Tech and go with the Red Raiders. That is going to be your other complimentary play. Now, of the two games, I like Texas Tech more than Virginia because, listen, I'm still always a little worried with that Virginia offense laying the points with the Cavaliers because Tony Bennett's team has just repeatedly proven that they're just not trustworthy offensively. So Texas Tech and Virginia are your two complimentary plays. I looked at a couple of the other games. I mean, Virginia Tech is an interesting situation, minus the 8.5 points, but they played so well in the first half against St. Louis the other day, up 40-18 at halftime in that eventual 66-52 win. But did you know in the second half against the Billikens, they were 4 for 19 from the field? The only reason they hung on to win that game is because they hit 17-21 free throws. Now, granted, the Billikens are a very physical team, but that was their first tournament win in 12 years. Liberty, of course, got its first ever big dance win the other day, taking care of Mississippi State. They rallied from 10 points down with 9.5 minutes to go to win that game against the Bulldogs. These two teams met in an exhibition game for charity. 86-70, Tech won that game back on November 4th. Tech out-rebounded them 39-18. I thought it was interesting that Justin Robinson, their point guard for Texas Tech, had 20 points in that game. He returned after a 12-game absence with a foot injury against St. Louis the other day. Obviously not in game shape, very rusty. Played, I think, about 27 minutes off the bench, had 9 points, but only 2 for 7 from the field and 4 turnovers. I do like Tech in this game, but let's face it, this is an 8.5 point spread in this contest. I think it's a very difficult game to handicap. I think Liberty is going to be so fired up for this game to play their in-state rival, and I do worry that Texas Tech is going to be able to cover this game. I lean a little toward the Hokies, but I think there is some value in the dog, so I think it's just one of those games that you have to stay away from, and that's the bottom line in that one. So again, Texas Tech and then Virginia are your two complimentary plays. I wish you well. Talk to you again tomorrow.